I am so excited. This is the first time I've done anything like this, so it's a little bit of an experiment, but we are just gonna wing it and see how it goes, and we're gonna do exactly what is meant to be done, and we're gonna have a fan-fucking-tastic time doing it. So what I have here are 3 different stacks of cards. There are tarot cards and then oracle cards from 5 different decks in each stack. And the idea of this reading tonight is for you to pick whatever stack you are drawn to. There's also different crystals on each one. I will put the decks that are used along with the crystals that are in each one in the description box, because I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what these are. This I know is a type of jasper. I just can't remember exactly. It's an interesting name. It starts with a K, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. This, I believe, is a moonstone heart. I'm not sure if you can see that kind of like blue flash there. And then this is celestite, but I want to make sure that I say what this is correctly. So regardless, descriptions of the decks used along with the crystals will be in the description so that you know for sure. But what I want you to do is take just a couple of seconds here, take a couple deep breaths. Let's actually take a couple deep breaths together. Let's breathe in and out. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in and out. All right, so after we've taken a couple kind of deep cleansing breaths, I want you to look at these 3 stacks of cards, and I want you to pick the one that is calling to you the most. The first kind of number 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, whatever comes to mind the quickest that feels like it is your stack. I want you to declare what that is for yourself. And then we're going to go through each stack. Obviously, I'm going to flip the cards over, of course, and give you the messages that are coming through. I am most likely going to also utilize the guidebooks for the oracle decks, because quite frankly, they are written so beautifully with very specific messaging for the cards, and I wouldn't want to have you kind of miss out on all of the messages meant for you. So just know that I will likely be also utilizing the guidebooks as well. But yeah, so that's that. So this is a pick your stack reading on the energies of 2024. So we have the tarot cards giving us kind of an overall vibe for the year. We have an oracle deck called the Wealthy Woman Oracle Deck by Taylor Eaton. And this one here is going to be specifically about prosperity and abundance for the year. We then have a card from the Goddess Power deck, which I absolutely love, by Colette Baron-Reid. And this, I wanted to pull a card for basically kind of the source of your personal power for this year, and kind of the goddess you can kind of call on throughout the year when you need to. We also have the Work Your Light Oracle decks, or excuse me, Oracle cards in here by Rebecca Campbell. That is also very much about like personal power, purpose, what you are meant to do, your destiny a little bit, that kind of vibe. And then we have the Love Who You Are. I wanted to pull a card from this deck because I think it would be really important to kind of tap into how we can love on and accept ourselves a little bit more this year. And lastly, we have a card from my Manifestation Cards deck by Spirit Daughter, and that's going to give you a really beautiful mantra and affirmation for this year. So that is the combination of cards that we have in each stack. Again, there's 1 of each of these decks in each stack, along with 3 tarot cards. Oh, and I did not show off from the Modern Witch tarot deck, which is my absolute freaking fave. So with that, again, pick the stack that calls to you the most, and then we will get started with pulling or flipping over the cards and getting to the actual messages. I am going to move these to the side now that you've had enough time to think about it. Let me make room here. Stack number 3, we have stack number 2. Okay, so let's get started on stack number 1. First off, we have our 3 tarot cards. Ooh, lots of wands. Okay, all right. Okay, we're gonna put those to the side. So we have the 9 of Wands, we have the King of Wands, and we have the 4 of Cups. This is a very interesting kind of combination of cards here. So with the 9 of Wands, actually I'm going to start with the 4 of Cups because she's kind of popping out a little bit first. So this is very much going to be about, are you focusing too much on the mundane or the logical things, or maybe the frustrating things? Are you getting kind of stuck and kind of frustrated with your situation? This could be about just kind of like a lifestyle choice. Maybe you feel, or you're there will be potentially opportunities or periods of time this year where you may feel like you're in a little bit of a rut. And are you going to focus solely on what feels sticky or what feels like it's keeping you kind of held down, and ignoring the kind of singular right choice here, which is ultimately coming from, you know, higher power, God, spirit, universe, whatever you choose to believe in. So it will be important to be willing to ask for clarity at times throughout this year, to really make sure that you're not getting so like caught up in what's really annoying or frustrating you, and so that you're completely missing the potential solution or kind of that next best step for you. With the 9 of Wands and King of Wands, I feel like this is very much about this. Okay, so the way that whenever I do tarot readings, I typically always will pull 3 cards at a time because I just feel like it gives the most kind of like complete picture for that moment. And sometimes they all play off of each other, like in a row, you know, past, present, future sort of situation. Sometimes they are all kind of inextricably linked. Sometimes they're completely separate from each other. In this case, these two feel very, very linked. And this one kind of feels like a warning, if you will, of what could happen if you are kind of unwilling to tap into your intuition and into your abilities to ask for guidance and support from, again, whatever higher power you choose to believe in. With these 2 cards, this is kind of, this year feels very much like you have done a lot of prep work leading up to this year, whether that be like personal growth stuff. It could also be like in the external world prep. So maybe cleaning up finances or getting kind of ready for the next level of your life, the next big thing to happen. What's coming to mind is like a home purchase, or kind of stepping into that like next typical phase of adult life. I'm gonna take a little quick drink of water here. Hold on a moment. Also, I didn't feel like editing this video, so you're just getting me in real fucking time with swear words and all. So I will have to remember to do a disclaimer or something at the beginning for potential language. But anyways, so you've done a lot of prep work. Again, this could be just internal, like growth work. It could be, or it could be a combination of internal and external preparation, because you kind of can't prepare well in your external world if your internal world is a fucking mess. All of the prep work has kind of led you to what could happen for you this year, which is actually stepping into that next kind of, again, phase of your adult life, where you're able to kind of survey things in front of you, see the big picture, and really kind of revel in how far you've come. The King of Wands here sitting on the throne, kind of, again, like looking out, obviously on some sort of like plateau type of situation, probably elevated. So again, you've done all this work on the ground here, to allow yourself to be at this big picture view. This card comes in, the warning to you comes in by saying, you've done all the prep work. It doesn't mean that it's going to be like handed to you tomorrow or easy as pie, because new level, new devil kind of situation, right? Like we're always wanting and needing to evolve and change and grow. So there's always going to be something more that you will do or will want to do or need to do. So it's not just going to be like, okay, I'm good to go. There's still going to be points in time, because our beautiful human psyches are just like this, where it might not be happening fast enough for you. It might not be happening exactly the way that you think it should or want it to. And so you're going to get you have the capacity to get very annoyed or frustrated by that. And then you're missing out on the divine option, the divine choice, the divine timing, and the divine blessing. And so the warning really comes from making sure that you're still tapping into your intuition. You've done a shit ton of work. Don't let all of that work feel like it's going to waste by not tapping into your intuition and just trusting and flowing. You've done the work. Now you get to kind of like flow into that next phase, excuse me. Again, not to say that it's going to be easy or guaranteed or anything like that. All of these readings, the number one thing that I tell all of my clients is free will is still the ultimate like variable factor. So this is just telling you what could be coming at you this year. It is up to you to accept that or do the things that might need to be done to make sure that kind of trajectory still continues. So it's time to kind of pick your best weapon, I guess, to attack the next phase and kind of become this the source of your power. So, you know, even between these two cards, you see the wand in this card, there's some little leaves on it, but it's pretty bare. And here it's very much more in bloom. So you're kind of picking your, again, your weapon, your staff, your support system, and allowing that to carry you through to this next level. But it's going to take continued connection to your intuition and your spirituality to get there. Okay, let's pop these guys up here and let's see what our wealthy woman. Okay, prosperous prayer. Well, again, my immediate, and I'll get to the guidebook in just a minute, but my immediate kind of thought that comes through with this is prayer and connection to your spirituality, to your intuition. Whatever that spiritual practice looks like for you is going to be so vital to really anchor into this year so that you can actually experience exactly what you are destined to experience, and exactly what you want, and even more than that. So let's see if there's any additional words of wisdom in here. All right. Okay, exactly. Love this. So prosperous prayer, use your voice and ask. This is a reminder that if you want something, then you simply need to ask for it. This includes abundance in all forms. And the best way to ask is with a prayer. Remember that a prayer is a request made sacred. It is a question asked with intention and surrender. And a prayer can take any form: a whispered wish, a solemn recitation, a silent desire. Now is the time to send out a prayer for prosperity in any form you choose. You can ask the universe for abundance. You can ask the people around you for advice or support. You can ask your guides for inspiration or clarity. Go back a few minutes to the beginning of this reading when I said you'll need to ask for clarity to make sure that you're not getting stuck in that frustration. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to release those prayers for prosperity into the world around you. A question can open doors to unimaginable wealth. A heartfelt request can open the floodgates of abundance. So, love that for you. Put that down. All right, who's the goddess that we have? Hestia. Again, this home purchase idea is really coming through. Not that she's like the goddess of buying a home, but home is her thing, obviously. Okay. Being at home in your own skin is what the Greek goddess of the hearth, Hestia, offers you today. When you're in alignment with your truest self, it's like everything you do suddenly fits and feels right. Now is the time to also look into your domestic environment, making sure you're surrounded by beautiful things that have a special positive meaning for you. Cleaning, tending house, and taking care of simple things are what is called for now. Chop wood and carry water, as the Zen koan puts it. The answers to the big questions come of their own accord when you're focused on the small tasks. The goddess Hestia reminds you that when you're at home in yourself, you are at home in the world. So again, obviously she's not the goddess of going and purchasing a home, but that sense of home, you are creating it for yourself first. So again, tapping into connecting to your spiritual practices, your spiritual rituals, and God, your spirit team, the universe, all of that. And really, really grounding into that, because that is where you're going to become the strongest from. That's the place you'll become the strongest from. So that will be hugely important. Then we have, creating heaven on earth. It's happening. Again, this is very this whole reading for you is very much about you've done the work and now it's time to kind of allow the blessings to kind of manifest for you. And that takes a lot of faith, especially when you put in a lot of fucking work, a lot of grinding, a lot of hustling, just a lot of intentional work. And so to kind of have to lift your hands up off the wheel and let Jesus take the wheel. Carrie Underwood is now playing in my head. That can be very challenging. But you have to be willing to let go of that control, because you are creating it and it is happening. So let's see what else we have to say about this particular card. Lemuria, or Mu, is one of the Earth's lost lands where heaven really was a place on Earth, a time before we were kicked out of the Garden of Eden. In Lemuria, life worked in harmony. All beings were seen as equal, and we were deeply reverent to Mother Earth. We knew that a mosquito was no worse than us, and the sun no better. Perhaps you too believe that heaven really can be a place on Earth. Perhaps you are part of the transition team who at soul level are devoted to creating this kind of harmony on the planet now. Thank you for wanting to do this work. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the state of affairs on the planet right now, if that is not the understatement of the freaking year. But you are being encouraged to keep holding the clear vision of the future. It is closer than you think. You may be guided to hold the frequency of Lemuria in your own community, family, workplace, or within yourself. Know that it is possible, and while at times it may feel like you are alone, you truly are not. Before I finish, I just want to reiterate with this. The energy of this woman on this card feels very kind of isolated, where maybe she feels like she's doing this all on her own, and so she's again trying to kind of figure out, and she's missing this kind of heavenly support. So don't do that. Don't miss out on that. There are hundreds of thousands who hold the codes of this ancient lost land, and even Lemuria crystals that hold the codes of remembering that are beginning to rise all over the planet. Keep doing what you are doing, and remember, the only way to heal the world around us is to first heal ourselves, which you've done a lot of work already to do. That was me adding that in. Okay. We have Easy Does It. I'm going to just kind of shift these guys over so we can see our little sloth friend in all their glory. How stinking cute is that? I love this deck so much. I haven't used it in forever. Okay. Pace versus race. This is the mantra of the moment. Your soul is in no rush, no matter what your current circumstances are trying to tell you. Easy now. Opportunities, assistance, answers, and serendipities appear when we slow down enough to notice them. Notice. Ask for and notice what you're receiving. Moving at the pace of guidance means cultivating the presence of mind to recognize when it's time to pause and when it's time to act. Part of loving your magnificent self is realizing your life is worth moving at the soul's pace rather than the rat race. So again, to me, what comes through with that is you've done the rat race part already. So now it's time to provide love to yourself by seeking the clarity when you start to feel stuck so that you don't stay stuck in that hamster wheel. And also just allowing yourself to flow and believe and trust that the work you've put in is now going to allow you to step in to this new level of your life that you really, really want. But it doesn't have to happen at the same kind of breakneck speed, or maybe overwhelming speed that the work to get to this point has maybe felt. And last but not least, release perfection. Okay. I love my imperfections, for they make me real. That is beautiful. And I feel like this is kind of the cherry on top, the bow for this entire package, that perhaps you have, because of the work you've put in up to this point, it can start to feel like, especially, okay. So when you've put in all this work, you've done all the things, you've done a ton of growth and healing, and now you're being asked to slow down, to stop, to pause, to trust, to ask for guidance, to follow the guidance. You can start to feel like, okay, but I'm not doing enough to like be worthy or be ready or be open to receiving that. And again, this is where this can kind of come into play. So you have to be able to release the fact that you are not going to be perfect, but it does not negate the work that you've done up to this point. It just means that you have uniqueness to you. You have opportunities if you want to continue to shift them, but there's never going to be, you're not going to be denied anything because you're not perfect. It might feel like things are being withheld from you, or things are taking longer because you get wrapped up in the control, really, the desire to control how it happens, and you have to let that go. And part of that is releasing your own need for perfection in yourself, along with kind of that vision as well coming true. You should hold the vision, hold the clear vision, like some of these other cards have said, but allow for God to fill in the details, to fill in some of the edges, to make it so much better than you could ever, ever, ever humanly possibly imagine. So yeah, that is stack number 1. I feel like that was a really fun stack of cards. So let's do stack number 2. We have our Moonstone Heart. And let's put these guys over here. And let's pull these cards over. Oops. Ooh, so we have Strength. Oh, I love this card so much. 3 of Cups. And we have the Page of Wands. Okay. All right. This feels very kind of celebratory, I would say. So the Three of Cups is kind of the one that is popping up for me first. So this overall, like the overall vibe of this year feels like celebration, feels like sisterhood, community, and connection with others around you. Also, what I love with this card that comes through a lot is connection as well to like all the parts of you. Again, spiritual connection. That is going to be just forever the foundation to anything, just as an FYI, full disclaimer. I will never stop saying that, but this is very much like celebratory, celebratory nature. So that's kind of like, this feels very much like the overall kind of vibe for the year for you. The Strength card coming up, what comes through right away is when I talked about like celebrating your uniqueness and kind of that joy of that, part of that is remembering the strength that you have. There may be times when you don't feel like you're a very strong person. There may be times that test you this year, and not in any way other than it just is giving you an opportunity to remember, remember just how incredible you are. And when we celebrate and are joyful and fully expressed in our uniqueness, the world oftentimes can try to like tear that down or try to dim your shine, if you will. And so you have to just remember to keep tapping into your considerable strength. This again is very much making sure that you're staying connected to a higher power, your spiritual center, ideally a masculine type of energy around that, whether that be, whether you use the word God or not, that kind of protection and provider that's there when you need it, that you are connected to, you can draw strength from, but you are still kind of walking ahead on your own, right? Like it's not this feeling of needing to lean on this all the time. It is, you are leading the way, but we all get tired sometimes. And so to just know that like you can draw strength from God or from your spiritual center when you need it most, like remembering how to do that basically. And then the Page of Wands, this again, these two again still kind of feel like they're somewhat connected. This one feels like this is almost like an extra credit card in the context of this spread. And this is like, hey, celebration, remember how fucking strong you are in the times when your uniqueness is going to try to be dimmed. Cool. But in the middle, amongst all of that, there's going to be opportunities that your spirit team wants you to be willing to take, to be a student almost, be willing to kind of take what you've learned and apply it to the real world, with still maintaining a sense of like curiosity and almost innocence, where you're not getting like jaded by the world around you, which actually can kind of tie into all of this anyways, because again, celebrating who the fuck you are, living as who you are, fully expressed, it's gonna require you to tap into your inner strength, and it can potentially cause you to feel jaded or run down or overwhelmed if you feel like it's not being received in the way that you want it to. But instead of trying to change, look at those opportunities as ways to say, what can I learn from this experience to allow me to still shine as exactly who I am, so that I can attract the right people who will raise their glasses with me, as opposed to throwing a drink on me. It feels like a harsh visual, but it works. It works in the context of this. And so, yeah, so this is very much like there's an adventurer aspect to this, but again, in this very like simplified, almost like you've just graduated high school and you're kind of going into the real world. That's what this year maybe feels like a little bit. And the real world just means the kind of growing up and allowing yourself to be exactly as you are in the real world, as opposed to maybe just in your own smaller world. Hope that resonates for you. Okay, let's see. We have the Champion. All right, this is a very, another very strong woman. Let's see, the Champion. Strength and celebration. And celebrating your strength. Okay. Oh my gosh, I turned to every page but the one I need. Literally. What is happening? Okay. The Champion. Abundance for the highest good. The Champion understands something about money that most others do not. The more that she uses it with the intent to always do the highest good in the world, the more money magically finds its way to her. She spends freely when she feels the pull to spend. She saves intentionally when she feels the nudge to do so. But with every decision and every exchange, she holds the intention to act from a place of highest good. She blesses the money that goes out with a prayer for it to go into the world and find the people who need it most. She honors the money that comes to her, thanking it for allowing her to feel supported so she can continue to fight to bring more good to the world. The Champion challenges you to ask how your abundance, no matter the amount you currently possess, can be best used for good. Perhaps it's time to share your wealth more fearlessly. Perhaps it's time to allow money to accumulate so that you feel secure, relaxed, and therefore better able to share your gifts with the world. So I think a side note to this card in the context of kind of your overall vibes for the year is in celebrating who you are and fully expressing yourself. That might mean expressing, or that might mean relating to money or utilizing money in ways that perhaps the people currently in your life would be concerned by or want to tell you how to do it differently. But if you if you continue to ground into who you are and who you want to be in this world, then you are only going to be utilizing and receiving money for the highest good possible. Okay, oops. We have Breed or Brigid, upside down, reversed. So that is a specific message in the guidebook for this deck. And I will turn her back. I'll turn her around in just a moment, but I want to make sure we give you the proper message here. So this is an alignment message. Sometimes you get into a creative slump and you feel frozen in midair, unable to move in any direction. Perhaps you're unsure of the next step with someone new, or a project becomes a looming behemoth in your mind, or you can't think of anything to say in a social moment. Maybe you think all your best ideas are gone. Breed offers you the alignment task of moving your attention away. Yep, okay. The alignment task of moving your attention away and remembering what it was like when you were little. Innocent, childlike, a little bit student vibes. When you finger painted and drew stick figures and played with your pals in the sandbox or playground. What moved you and lit you up then is the same creative spark that can move you now. Playful curiosity is what's called for. Curiosity. Don't take yourself or your current conditions too seriously. It's time to be free from the burden of expectation you've set upon yourself. Don't try so hard. The triple goddess of the hearth, the forge, and inspiration brings all her aspects together to help you sparkle and be your unique self. Sorry, I just really fucking love when the cards speak on each other and just kind of compound, especially when you're combining tarot with oracle and the oracle decks in amongst themselves. Like every single one is a different theme, and so it excites me when this happens. Okay, from the Work Your Light, we have Warrior Woman. Have you answered your deepest calling? Are you being your truest, most fully expressed self? All right, let's see what we've got for the Warrior Woman. You are here for a reason. You are being called to bravely pave a path. Have you answered your highest and deepest calling? Living a heart and soul-led life is not all fluffy and smooth sailing. Living a heart and soul-led life requires courage to triumph over fear. So often, our fears are the gatekeepers to our greatest gifts, and the more resistance we have towards answering a call, the more important it is to our soul's growth. Sometimes fear is an indication that we are facing the right way. Joan of Arc was known for her courage and her famous line, "I'm not afraid, I was born to do this." But the thing about courage is that it is not possible without fear. So if you are feeling afraid, what is needed is courage, or perhaps a little strength. And courage comes from living from the heart. Think of your fears as opportunities to expand rather than things that are holding you hostage. If you look at your fears in this light, then, as uncomfortable as it might feel, it's actually a sign that you are on the right track. Well, hot diggity damn. I don't have anything else to add to that one. Always settle for more. More you, more light, more excitement, more celebration, perhaps, more monies. All right. What you believe you are worth comes from early programming. You didn't make that program, but you can remake it. Take out the old software that says you are limited in scope and should be functional and realistic with your dreams. Again, being your absolute fucking crazy, beautiful, wild self, magical self. And when that programming comes in that says, no, 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 you're being crazy, you're going way too outlandish, connect to who you are, the core of who you are, your strengths, and your spiritual team, your spiritual center, your spiritual power, and break through that. Side note, if you need help breaking through those limiting beliefs, if they do come up this year, which they will, because you are being asked to be fully freaking expressed, and that comes with a hell of a lot of fear for your psyche. So if you feel like if you're feeling like you are getting stuck, if you feel like there are roadblocks, let's talk about getting together, doing some NLP sessions, doing one-on-one mentorship. I've got 1 and 3 month packages available. And I would love to help you get through whatever is holding you back so that you get to be this celebratory, incredibly strong, confident person. Anyways, once you're willing to befriend uncertainty and failure, you are free to recognize your soul is unlimited and you have the power to tap that potential through your choices. You can settle for less or settle for more. The effort is the same. So really, what do you want to do? And this is going to be about, are you going to continue to allow the stories that you've told yourself that keep you small and keep you scared or uncomfortable to kind of run the show? Or are you willing to step out of that to really embrace the potential of this year? And you don't have to do it alone. Be positive. I focus on the good in life. Again, celebration, baby. Celebration. Celebrate good times. Come on. That is what your year can look like. And it's going to take choice. It's going to take, again, willingness to do you, to do you, boo-boo, even when it feels like it's fucking impossible. All right, last but not least, we have, how did I have this sitting out? We'll just do that. Sure, why not? We have stack number 3. Okay. The 3 of Swords. We have the 10 of Wands. And we have the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. Well, stack number 3. I gotta be honest with you. There is potential for some struggles for you. Now, I am not one that believes in like black and white type of things, like negative and positive. I think that there's always optimism and positivity available to you, and there is a great outcome even amongst these 3 cards. But I can be realistic and want to be very honest and transparent with you and let you know that there is some challenge ahead for you this year, potentially. And I think that I think it can be valuable to know that ahead of time, as long as you have the right mindset for it. So please, like, just trust me when I say any challenge or hardship you face, if you can hold on to the faith and trust that it is still in your highest good and still is happening for a reason, you can reconcile with it a little bit easier. Sorry, I need to pause for some water. It was not meant to be a dramatic pause there. So what this is also telling me, or I should say what this is not telling me, is that you are destined for pain and heartbreak and whatever. This is just saying that there's potential for some challenges because there are some things you need to be kind of confronted by maybe, or confronted with, so that you have the opportunity to shift them now before they become heartbreak and pain, before they become tragedy. And so that's what we're looking at here. So we have the 3 of Swords, which is kind of about like a potential for heartbreak, or that you've had some heartbreak maybe recently. And that doesn't have to mean like a romantic relationship heartbreak. It can be anything that hurts you, right? It can be grief of any kind. So you have either just very recently experienced some heartbreak, so it's still kind of fresh and raw, or there is the potential for some pain and heartbreak this year. It doesn't necessarily feel like having to do with losing someone else in your life. It feels more about like grieving. How do I explain this? Let me rewind actually, because it's hard because like what you can control is how you respond to things, right? So what comes through is not necessarily, oh, your significant other is going to leave you or whatever the case may be. Like it's never going to be that specific, because that is meaning that I am controlling or trying to like dictate what someone else might do. This is about you and how you're going to walk in the world this year and the energies that are going to surround you. So there is, again, either very recent grief or heartbreak you have dealt with that's still very fresh, or there is a potential for some grief and heartbreak this year with a huge, huge, huge asterisk that says it is so for your highest good, and you will realize that. You will understand if you're willing to have faith through the whole process. The 10 of Wands in the context of this is a little bit about kind of protecting you, wanting to protect yourself, I should say, which is not inherently bad. I think this is suggestion along with a kind of warning, if you will. Again, there's always like work that can be done, or there's always suggestions, right, that come through. So the first suggestion with this card really is like, find ways to protect yourself. Find ways to set boundaries around yourself to protect your most vulnerable self, so that when the challenge arises, or as you are now freshly healing from a challenge or pain, you can do so with still some strength and protection. So you're not just like flayed open for the world to attack. The warning to this is to say, don't allow those boundaries to cage you in. Like, still allow for you to be open to the world, because there's so much more beauty and so much more joy to be had for you through this process. This has to happen for you. You have to let go of, or be able to let go of whatever has just left, or what may leave this year. The Knight of Pentacles, however, is saying, okay, this happened, but I can pick up and I can absolutely move forward with strength and with resiliency and with intentionality and purpose. And you can move forward towards your blessing. Knight of Pentacles. Pentacles being, sometimes financial, but material blessings or spiritual blessings, things like that, manifestations. So this is a reiteration, I guess, that whatever has happened or will be happening, and I feel like if it hasn't already happened just recently, it will be kind of soon, so that you have you kind of get it out of the way a little early in the year, so that you have the rest of the year to kind of pick up the pieces if you need to, and please is what I'm hearing. Please hold on to the faith that you are going to be able to take everything that happened from this and still move forward. The Knight is very much about movement. Still move forward towards what you are, the blessings that you're meant for. So yes. Okay. That's all that I have to say so far about the overall vibes. Let's see what money is going to look like for you. We have the Observer. Be on the lookout for prosperity. So again, this is very much like looking forward, right? You've got in the intentionality, the purpose, the desire to move forward. There's also a degree of surveying. So be on the lookout for prosperity. Nothing passes by the Observer unnoticed. She opens her eyes to the world and expectantly waits for abundance to cross her path. Everywhere she goes, she sees each opportunity for prosperity that comes her way. Never seeking, she is always watching with excitement to see how abundance will surprise and delight her next. The Observer makes a game of life and wealth. She wakes each morning with jubilation, knowing that abundance desires to come to her in the most playful ways, and all she has to do to invite it in is to look for it. Prosperity is trying to make its way to you. Now it's up to you to meet it halfway. Hop on your horse, baby girl. You're going to be fine. Everything is going to be so much more beautiful than it seems in the moment, but you're going to be fine. So hop back up on that horse. Expect it in the most unexpected and expected places. Shed your assumptions of how it can or can't come to you. Instead, be on the lookout for it. Expect it to come to you at all moments. Move forward with lighthearted anticipation, knowing that abundance will make itself known to you when you keep your eyes open to it. And again, that's kind of the same thing too with this card. It's with this card is yes, please protect, please set boundaries, but don't allow yourself to be completely blinded to what's around you. Still be willing to lift your head up and kind of look around your boundaries or through your boundaries at what is still coming for you. All right, we have Hera. Oops. Again, every page but the one that I need. Oh, that's because I can't count. Okay, here we go. Oh my goodness. All right, the empowerment message. The Greek goddess Hera, wife of Zeus, knew intimately that positive alliances lead to great power. At this moment, you're magnetized to receive aid from people who have greater wisdom and can help you to the next level. So let me pause for a moment. Boundaries, protecting yourself is important. But even these wands, if you will, in this thing, they're external things, right? So this can also be protection provided to you by others around you, connection to your family, friends. It doesn't have to just be kind of internal. And that's, again, the kind of warning, if you will, to not isolate yourself, to not get stuck in a cage of your boundaries. Perhaps it's a mentor who appears or someone in the know. Making connections with others and finding strategic partnerships are favored right now as you explore the nature of becoming empowered by association. This works well if you have a healthy sense of self-worth and if you're able to learn without diminishing yourself in any way. Right now, Hera is supporting you to form beneficial alliances for the greater good of all. When called to action or faced with a decision, ask, how does this benefit me, and how can I serve the highest good as a result of this connection? You may also be called to give help to another who needs your mentorship. Give freely, for only good will come of it. This is a wonderful time for all manner of connection and collaboration. All right. You're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. And this, very much before I read the guidebook, feels kind of connected to this in terms of that forward momentum, that forward movement. You're going to get through the setback, the heartbreak, the pain, the grief, however it shows up in your life or has just recently. And you are going to be more than okay. And you're going to be able to keep moving forward towards what you want. You just have to be, again, connected to that faith that everything is happening for you and for a reason, whether you can see what that reason is right now or not. And also, side note, it is so okay to not like want to be okay with just saying everything happens for a reason. That faith is a muscle you have to work out, right? So it's okay if you quote unquote slip up and have frustrations or sadness or whatever the case may be, or you feel powerless or helpless in a situation. It's totally okay and normal and natural. What you're being asked to do is being willing to feel the feelings for a minute and then tap back into that faith, tap back into that spiritual connection. Again, like I said, that is the foundation to fucking everything we talk about here. To step back into that and to ground back into that and be able to like dry your tears, calm your breathing, whatever you need to do, and be able to say, okay, right now this fucking sucks. I hate this so much, but I trust that I am meant to be going through this for something that is so much better. Okay. Where is this guy? Okay. All right. Do not question things so much. You are on the right track. You are facing the right way. You're facing the right way. It's happening, and you are closer than you think. You are exactly where you need to be, and things are moving at the perfect speed. Do not rush it. Now is not the time to be impatient. Now is the time to walk steady. There is no rush. What you are building is being built. What you have planted soon will blossom. With every new day, a new brick is being laid. You have come a long way. The foundations are steady. Now all that is needed is for you to trust and keep walking forward. Keep walking forward. If a thought that things should be moving faster enters your head, that is just your ego comparing your rising to someone else. Comparison is not your friend. Stay in your lane, water your own garden, knowing that your time to bloom will come soon. And this also, by the way, this heartbreak idea, this pain idea, could also be a perceived setback, to a goal that you have. So let's say you have a goal to either change careers or get a promotion of some kind, or you have a dream to start your own business. This could be what appears to be a setback on the road to that goal. In which case the boundaries, the protection really is saying that you're still going to move in the direction that you need to, even though this hurts like hell, but it's because of divine timing, right? It's not because it's not meant for you, it's because of divine timing. So that could be, just as an aside, what this kind of Three of Swords is pointing towards. Ooh, we have expect a miracle. Hell yes. That is something I write down every single day, that my next level self, my highest self, believes and is constantly in awe of the daily miracles that I experience, because I expect that God is going to show up and show the fuck out for me. Okay, expect a miracle. Make a wish, expect a miracle. According to an old European legend, the name Lady in Ladybug is borrowed from Our Lady, the Mother Mary. During the Middle Ages, when pests plagued crops to disastrous levels, the farmers prayed to the Blessed Lady to save their lands. In a short time, the ladybugs, who had not been in the area before, started visiting and eating the pests. The crops thrived. Your crops, all that you are growing in your life, benefit from your willingness to ask for and receive help. It doesn't matter to whom you address your petition. The sacred is always listening. Make the wish and expect the miracle. Alliance. Help. Asking for and receiving help. Because you do not need to do this by yourself. And do not isolate yourself. Release distractions. I free my energy to focus on what matters most. The first thing that comes to mind when I read this is whatever this is referring to that's leaving you or has left you ultimately was a distraction to keep you small, to keep you stuck, to keep you from really experiencing what you're meant to experience. Which is why, even though it's so fucking painful at times, it is all for nothing but your highest good. So, do not fear, do not fret. Ultimately, it is still going to turn out even better than you could imagine. And I know how hard that is in the face of feeling pain or feeling heartbreak or feeling grief, to remember. All right. That is 2024 for stack 1, stack 2, and stack 3. I would so love to hear what stack you chose and how it resonated for you. As always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But I always like to say, kind of keep it in the back of your brain, because if it doesn't resonate with you now, it could potentially resonate a little bit down the road. You'd be surprised how often that happens. But yeah, I would absolutely love to know your thoughts. Obviously, if you enjoyed this, I certainly did, so I know that I want to keep doing these, but if you enjoyed this, please let me know. And then before I sign off here, I do want to just let you know that if you are wanting a private reading, I do offer those. I will see if I can link, I think I can link my offer page if you want to book a reading. Otherwise, you can definitely check me out on Instagram, and I have a link in my bio. My Instagram is Your Spiritual GPS, all one word. So if you want a private reading, I would be more than happy to do so. I offer a couple of different options. One is a mini reading, which is not live or like in person, if you will. It is 3 cards, 3 tarot cards I pull for you. I usually throw in a couple bonus like oracle cards. I pull them, I take photos, put them in a PDF basically with the write-up of your reading, and then I just email that over to you. The other option is for a 60-minute at minimum. Trust me, we usually go a little bit over, but minimum 60-minute reading, either via phone or Zoom, whichever you prefer. And so you can book that and we would get that on the schedule. My last option that I'm super, super, super excited about for this year, something brand new I'm doing, is actually a Spiritual GPS membership. So for a monthly fee of $75, you get 1 reading per month, and that is that cost is less than the cost of a single reading normally. So for $75 a month, which by the way, you can cancel at any time, like there's no commitment in terms of length of time you do that, but you get essentially a credit for 1 reading for that month that you can schedule at any point in the month that works for you and my schedules, for your and my schedules. And it's just kind of that way to like, I look at it like a gym membership or like a massage membership, which is kind of what inspired me initially, in a funny way. But you do these things for a commitment, a routine for your physical health. This is a routine and commitment to your spiritual and emotional health. So if that's something that you're interested in, please either comment below or send me a DM over on Instagram, and I would be happy to send that link on over to you. So with that, I think I will close for today for this 2024 kind of overview. And again, I really hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. I look forward to doing this again. And my inbox is always open over on Instagram. I love chatting with you all. And I'm happy to provide support if and when you need it. If you're truly wanting to commit to honestly like living out your best fucking life possible, but obviously things get in the way for us, stories, limiting beliefs, all those fun things. Let's also talk about our opportunities for one-on-one mentorship combined with some NLP sessions as well, which is incredible and hugely transformational. So I think that that's everything. And I thank you so, so much for watching this entire thing, if you did, or at the very least watching your section. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will be back soon. Thank you so much.